Hello.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. So I just started going live. Okay, we're just starting to get people, sending out the little
Getting
notifications. I actually haven't done an Instagram live video myself, ever.
I've done a few.
You've done a few? How do they generally go with you?
I just jumped into people and been like, hey, let's talk to this person for a while. I wanted to do I had this idea for a show for a while called Wine Time Live.
I think you mentioned it to me before.
Yeah, and I did it a few times and had I was like, all right, Wednesday night, put the kids to bed. We're going to break out the bottle of Aldi Malbec and do this right.
That's right. Yeah. So why haven't you done it quite yet?
I actually, at the end of last year, I quit making content for a while. I've really dialed back and
So have I.
right? Twinkies.
Yeah.
Yeah. For a
But it
variety
looks like
of reasons.
I've been following your Instagram, and it looks like you got actually some new content in the works.
I'm working on some stuff. The hard part for me was what I wanted to do in 2020 and redefine myself kind of. And then now we have a global pandemic. So
yeah. That sort of interrupted everything. How have you been doing during the quarantine and everything?
So right before quarantine, we had my daughter, who is right now asleep. And then I worked that next month prepping because we had this whole plan to get her into daycare. But to get her into daycare, I had to wait I'd go back to work for a month and then take off the appropriate time so we could get her into daycare when they opened up. Oh. And then the first week out, we had the global pandemic. Yeah. And it was us.
So what has it been like with how old is she now? Oh.
Glitchy.
Sorry, you cut out.
It is super glitchy. Welcome to the Glitch Network, boys and girls.
There we go, and you're back. So how old?
You sound like a robot.
Oh man. All right. So okay, can you hear me? Okay.
I think I can a little bit. It was cutting in and out there for a second. I think we're back. Oh wait,
we're back. I apologize to all the viewers for the terrible internet connection.
I don't know if Heather's here. I don't know who's getting what of our glitchy conversation.
I know, right? On my end, it looks great.
I don't know.
How's your end doing? Are we back?
On mine, it looks good. Maybe?
On mine, it looks good. Is it working?
Okay, it's kind of cutting in and out here a little on mine.
Okay.
Let's see if you can catch this. Here's my fancy Flight of the Conchords poster.
Ooh, that is a great show.
Yeah, it's super glitchy here.
Oh, no.
Maybe if I would... Better. Maybe no, maybe yes. I don't know.
I have no idea why it's being so glitchy.
Wait. I think we're better.
Yeah?
Heather?
Hello?
Is it working on your end? Can you see me?
It is working on my end.
Heather, we have mastered the internet.
Yay!
We've gotten the top score today.
Yeah, my internet connection has been real weird lately. It's showing that I have full connection.
Yeah, no, mine does too. It's just right now with all the networks and everything right now, they're being overloaded with so many servers.
Yeah, that makes sense. But can you hear me okay now?
I can hear you okay now.
Okay, great. So kind of jumping back onto our conversation. How old did you say your daughter was?
She's 3 months old now. So.
Okay. So what's it like quarantining with a 3-month-old?
It's just a lot of, I'm redefining a lot of stuff right now. And I had I was talking before we kind of got glitched there. I had the whole idea to redefine my year around a lot of this stuff. And then like I was going to help a lot of these local races and be an MC, and like I don't know if anything's happening for a while. And
yeah.
So then it's like, okay, then what do we do? Well, you can't even go to the gym. So
Yeah.
I kind of got to this point where I just went into my backyard and started moving trees. And that's what I've been doing and running. And that's about it.
Okay. Well, from what I've seen in your Instagram stories and on your Instagram, you actually live in a pretty gorgeous area, right?
Yeah, I live back here in the woods. It's really pretty. Actually, I can probably even follow this. This is like my I don't talk to a lot of people about my house or anything, because I kind of hide it.
Yeah.
But like, this is my backyard.
Oh my goodness. I'm very jealous.
A lot of trees back there. And I grew up on like 100 acres in southern Indiana, and it just feel like home.
Wow, that's incredible. Do you have a lot of space to run out back out there?
Oh yeah, there's 20 minutes down the hill, there's a 3,000 acre park that I go to. It's got like 50 like miles of paved trails that I hit.
That's incredible.
Yeah, Brown County. That's kind of like one of the ideas for BroCR, and like what we did was BroCo, which was Brown County.
Wow.
That was where I called that all from.
Now, one thing I've noticed as I've been doing my running and training, all the outdoor areas that I like to run are actually saturated with people now. Now that everybody is told to stay home, everybody's going outside for various reasons. Have you found that that's the case in your area?
That is the case here as well. Suddenly everybody's an ultramarathoner or a hiker or a trail runner.
Right?
Good for them.
I mean, yeah, on the plus side, it's nice to see so many people, outside in nature and enjoying the world. But at the same time, I feel like us runners are like, this is our spot. What are you doing here? So
at that point, like what I do is I stretch my legs a little bit and go out and like try to hit King of the Mountains on like the nastiest trails out there. Like we've got this one called Schooner. That's just god awful.
Really? How so?
It's like a 10K. GPS is horrible. It barely picks up back there. But it's like up and down like a waterfall at one point. But it's like an Indiana waterfall, so it's just bullshit.
Oh.
And it's like in Indiana, it's like 2,000 gain, which is like hard to find in Indiana. So it's a good time.
Yeah.
It's good. How have you been adjusting with all this though?
I've been doing okay. I had some we're going on week 4 now?
I think so.
It took some adjustment. I had some time where I was, really stressed about it. I was having a lot of anxiety, but I've really been trying to focus on some projects, that I've put aside that I've been wanting to work on. And so I'm like, now I have time. And I've been having my own training program that I'm trying to focus on as well.
Good.
So I'm slowly, after the initial shock of everything settled down and you kind of settle into routine, I wouldn't say life is like normal, but I have a different routine now.
You have a new normal.
Yeah. And as soon as you settle into that new normal, I feel like things feel a little bit more sane.
Awesome. That's good. And I agree. It's redefining. I think we're just all going to come on the other side of this looking very different.
Yes.
And I think, okay, so I'm gonna pick your brain on this here. So we're gonna go philosophical.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so have you read that piece? Did I send it to you? The millennials are the burnout generation. Or did you see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Sum it up for our watchers.
For our watchers. Okay, so basically it's this concept of like, and I mean, you never ask a girl her age, but you're about my age. And
I'm 31.
You're 31. Okay, I'm 33. But they talk about millennials being kind of the burnout generation because we're just go, constant. I need to do this. I need to have a side hustle. I need to be capitalizing on every single waking hour that I have. I can't just watch a TV show and enjoy it. I need to binge through 5 seasons of it on Netflix. That's our baseline.
Yeah. Yeah.
our functioning is like super stressed out, constantly going.
Yeah.
And this is doing something that we've not had the chance to do since childhood, which was slow down.
Wow, that's a very good observation.
That being said, though, we are currently in a sport that, like, I love OCR, but OCR is the sport, like, where it is also the sport of second chances, it's also the sport of burnout.
Very true. Yeah.
You know, you need to be running all these series. You need to be going to this other series. You need to be doing these virtual challenges. You need to be tuning in every single morning because we're going to give you nutrition info and stuff. And maybe I just want to eat a bagel.
Yeah.
And read a book and drink some coffee and then go on a run.
Yeah.
And that's okay too.
Yeah. I mean, I it's so funny because I saw somebody post on Facebook, someone at OCR basically saying the one positive of this situation in the quarantine is that it'll force us all to slow down and like take a break, not burn out, not injure ourselves with overtraining. And I was like, that's a very good idea because I mean, I think it was 2 years ago, I was doing a race at
Every
least,
weekend.
yeah, almost every single weekend of the year. And it was a lot. And it's just, it's a nice, like, I mean, even as scary and crazy as the world is right now, it is nice that we're all sort of forced to just pace ourselves.
Absolutely.
And just stop.
It's a good thing though, and we need it. We
Yeah.
really desperately need it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's okay if you only run like 1 or 2 races a year. That's okay.
Yeah.
But that's been the mantra for so many of us that have, you know, you've got like all these people that are keeping the lights on, the weekend warriors coming out there getting a trifecta or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at people like us who have like year after year hustled for multiple trifectas. If you're not at the world championship, who are you? If you know you're not, you need to be here and competing this, you need to be talking to these people, you need to be wearing these shoes, and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And I'm over that.
You know, I certainly felt a lot of that burnout towards the end of last year.
Yep.
It's why I took a break from my own podcast for such a long time. Just, I mean, dealing with my own stuff, but also that on top of burnout of just going, and just not taking a break, and just realizing that even with the risk of FOMO, sometimes you just need to give yourself that physical and mental break.
But it's still there, that FOMO. It's in your chest.
It is, yeah.
Still
Absolutely.
there in your chest. And that's the hard part for me. And I feel like so many, because it's like you've got to deprogram yourself.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's honestly what I think this time period is serving for. We're all kind of learning to reset.
Yep.
We're
Absolutely.
essentially resetting from zero. I hope that I'm a hopeful, optimistic person. I think the sport of OCR will be able to come back. Now you are more closely tied into some local brands. Do you think that they're going to survive okay through all this?
You know, that's okay. So I was there with the guys from Abominable when we were shutting things down.
Yeah.
And it burned my soul.
Sure.
It was heart-wrenching, like making live videos, like we got to tell the people because they're driving here right now. We've got to stop people coming here right now because they're shutting things down, and this hotel doesn't want anybody staying here tonight. And I don't know who's going to recover or who's going to come back from this, but I hope they can.
Yeah.
I think it's going to look very different. I really hope like the guys like Savage Race, who have got a great program there, a great race. I hope Sam and his team do well. Oh, hi, Josh.
Oh, hi, Josh. Hey, Josh. Aw, our good friend Josh Chase.
I think it's going to give us a chance to make certain things more special. And I think it's going to give us some time to slow down and maybe appreciate some things. So like, okay, for instance, one weekend every year, there's 3 races here.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Ragnar, which Ragnar Trail, great time.
Mm-hmm.
Another local Ragnar just down the hill called Dances with Dirt, also a good time. The guys who ran it kind of burned us last year. And also Frontline traditionally, up in the Chicago area. You know, they're monitoring everything with Frontline right now. I don't think the other 2 races are going to happen. You know, we'll see what happens with Frontline. But I thought to myself, okay, what if instead of doing any races and saving that, I just go run all my favorite trails, go camping, and then go across the street to my favorite brewery and go have a beer and like ribs for dinner. Yeah, man, that sounds really good.
Yeah. That was a lot of what I did last year.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm optimistic. I think Savage will be okay. I think Spartan and whatever the new Tough Mudder is going to be, I think they're going to be okay.
It's going to take some time.
Yeah. It's just scary because I keep seeing reports. I keep seeing blips of news articles mentioning that this is going to go on for a long time.
Yeah, I saw something from, I think it was the New York Times. They were talking about mass gatherings of like concerts, not fall, but next fall.
Yeah, I saw that too. And for my own sanity, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to wait it out. Let's see how this month goes. It's interesting that we're at this point where we're basically taking it a month at a time or a week at a time.
Yep, pretty much.
Because there's no sense for me personally, how like mentally dealing with this, there's no sense in freaking out about this
long term
arbitrary deadline that hasn't even been confirmed, you know, nationwide. And so it's like, why freak out about it? Just take it a day at a time. So that's what I'm doing. Are you doing any sort of training program or specific training, or are you just kind of going out and
kind of throwing down miles? I'm just kind of kettlebell prison style workouts, pushing around trees and running miles.
All right. Are you doing some hardcore parkour out there in the woods?
Kind of some of the trees there, cutting stuff down and jumping over logs. Like I've got big logs back there. Like I'll make a photo here for you later. Like I'm talking like I have 200-foot trees back there that are like,
holy cow.
Yeah, they're big trees. Big trees.
Yes, I missed that. I grew up around that.
I know you did.
I grew up around all the big green trees, so I kind of miss that down here in California.
So okay, let's look at that. How's everything in California where you're at? Like, how are you? I mean, you were bartending there. What are you doing now?
Nothing.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I was in the middle. I finished wedding photography at the end of last year because I was like, okay, I'm done. I've been doing it for 10 years. I'm ready to transition fields. So I was in the middle of transitioning fields and working on my portfolio to a different field of photography.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I was bartending, you know, to pay the bills.
Keep lights on.
Yeah, and so to just keep everything running, and then the world shut down. So I've applied for unemployment twice already. I still haven't gotten anything. I've been doing a lot of Instacart shopping, which, you know, it doesn't pay a lot, but it pays enough. It's better than nothing.
Do you have a sweet COVID mask?
I have like some of those like those disposable ones.
Okay.
I alternate that between that and my buff, which I double up my buff because I know just like the thin layer. So I'll double up my buff and just wear my buff. So.
I've got a friend of mine's mom made me one. It's got flamingos on it that I've been wearing.
That's awesome. Really I would make my own, but I just do not have any sewing skills at all. It's
really?
sad. Yeah.
I've been rocking the junk bands a lot, but then they got the flamingo one, and I was like, all right, this is clutch.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I love it. Yeah, there's certain stores in my area where you can't go in without a face covering. They won't let you in. So
Really?
yeah, there's like a little sign. So you have to have face covering. So
So all the liquors, it's really weird here in Indiana. So like
mhm.
rules, every state's different, and the rules are constantly changing.
Uh-huh.
So like Indiana now, like all of our liquor stores turned into drive-through only.
Oh, so I think some of those are doing the same thing around here. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, all the Starbucks are closed unless they have a drive-through.
Yep, we've got drive-through ones only. Yep.
Hmm. And then we have this law ordinance that says for the restaurants, you can order drinks to go at
Yep.
a
In
restaurant.
here, we got
So
that.
yeah.
I just make my own though. I'm a classy guy like that, and
Me too. And now I know how to. Ha ha.
we've discussed old fashions before.
It's true. That's
Yeah.
my go-to drink, I will say.
Here. Same here. Have you ever tried to, instead of using simple syrup, go with like maple syrup?
No. I feel like that would had quite a different. Okay, I'm gonna have to try that one. That would
Some
be a good quarantine drink.
quarantine experiments.
Yeah, quarantine
We should
experiment.
do Wine Time Live. We should bring Wine Time Live around.
Should,
Should
yes.
at some point.
So speaking of Wine Time Live and kind of going back to a more directional conversation,
Back to
tell me about some of the projects you have in the works.
some of the projects I have in the works. So I've been doing stuff with Salming now. We've
Oh,
got a
that's
gift
great.
that I'm throwing out tomorrow, a pair of shoes. Um, I'm working potentially on a big deal with another company to start working with them in a race. Hopefully the race happens later this year.
Hmm.
But right now everything's on the fence right now, so we're all kind of waiting that stuff out. So we'll see if that happens or not.
Yeah.
And then I'm just trying to decide realistically how I want to like remake videos and content and if like and what I want that to look like because I want to be really creative with it. And I've got some new
Hmm.
friends here in town that I've kind of reconnected with that are a bunch of artists.
Oh, cool.
So I've talked a little bit on my podcast about it, but one of my friends is it sounds freaking crazy. So one of them is he's got a very, very, very successful podcast called Creative Pep Talk.
Ooh.
And he's an illustrator. He does. You should check him out. Andy J. Miller. He goes by Andy J. Pizza.
Hmm.
But has this great podcast, great content. I mean, he's interviewed like Gordon Joseph Levitt on his podcast. He's been on NPR. He's a lot of good stuff there. Just went out to meet the girls from Broad City and do some stuff with them.
Oh, that's so cool.
I would love to collab and do like a podcast or a video series about running, but like how it could be anybody and like how it helps. But like even creative people or just anybody realistically. It's a weird talk. I got a friend, Matt Rust, who I want to bring on and do like a podcast with him, who he's got a really, really passionate story. And then I've got another friend here in town named Casey, who Casey makes his living off connecting with like old punk rock bands from like our college days.
That's so cool.
And he had his first daughter, and then he makes lullaby versions of like their songs. So if you check it out, Sparrow Sleeps on YouTube, like he has hundreds of videos. Like it's insane how many videos this guy puts out of like Weezer, like he just got done doing Panic at the Disco. And this has got to be on the DL, but he's working with Tenacious D to put out stuff of like lullabies.
Oh gosh.
He's like, I'm sitting here playing on a glockenspiel, fuck her gently, and it's like, he's like, I'm trying not to giggle.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible.
Great stuff, and just weird stories like that. But like Casey, like this past year in 2019, lost I think 60 pounds by running.
Wow, that's awesome.
Shape, yeah. So it's fun stories like that like how this has helped you.
That's so cool.
How about Heather? What's Heather looking for in 2020 post quarantine?
Oh gosh. Well, right now I took some time off of just everything OCR, and so I really want to get back to where I was as far as like my fitness and my strength. So I'm like working to get back to that. I don't know. That's basically my only goal right now, is just to
Good goal.
get back to a really like fit, a place where I used to be, a really fit place, and then just a routine. I just need a daily routine, and I want to be able to make plans more than a week or two out, which has been my life for like the past several months.
Ours. It's really been all of ours.
Yeah, pretty
You're
much.
not alone in that.
Yeah. So my goal is just to kind of get back to the things that I love, because I took a long break from that, from climbing and running, and from the podcast, my own podcast. And so that's kind of my goal, is to be consistent with the Overcome and Run podcast again, and be a more contributing member of the OFCR report.
And see, I was thinking about this the other day. That's like last year, like doing the ultras and stuff, I didn't get to make a lot of videos. Just because, and I got to make the podcast, which took off well.
Yeah.
Because podcasts do. But I mean, you really spoke to something really, really interesting to me at WTM last year. And you were like, I've always just thought of you as a video maker, not a podcaster. And it was like, it really resonated with me. I was like, she's right.
You are good at the videos.
So I've considered myself just like a content creator, and I just want to make, what I want to do is I guess if I could come up with like a mission statement, is I want to make what nobody else could make.
I like that. That is a really good, specific.
I just want to make stuff that can't be replicated, that people will try to replicate, but they can't. And they can dig and they can try all day, but they can't. And whether people like it or not, cool, whatever, I made it. That's mine. I've got it.
Do you have some specific, other than the kind of podcast idea that you had mentioned, do you have any specific project in the works?
I would love to make some cool videos with some friends, but we don't have travel and we don't have friends to go do stuff with. So
True.
I do have this, like right now personally, I'm working on my deck and planning it out. So I'm going to drop a bunch of money on making a deck here in the next year. So that's to the side. But I'd love to make like a YouTube channel, I think. And really do some really creative stuff with people there. Up the production quality. I bought a new camera I've been using, and it's really good for vlogging. So are you familiar with the DJI, the Mini?
No. I know DJI.
Okay, so like, can I go get something really cool?
Yeah.
Be right back.
Please do. For those of you just joining, Jacob's going to get some really cool new piece of equipment that he has to share with us all. Because he's going to be making some rad new content and some rad new videos. So he's going to show us his new toys. I don't have any new toys right now. I just have my camera and podcast. But anyway, this is Quarantine Corner. And you guys should be catching Quarantine Corner every day at noon. All right, Jacob, what you got?
Okay, so check this out. This is my new setup that I really like.
Ooh, what is that?
This is a DJI Osmo Mini. Electronic stabilization.
Oh, so it's like a mini version of their stabilizer thing, which I have.
Okay.
Can't remember the name of. Wow.
Okay, micro SD card, little bitty feedback on there.
Oh.
Tracking.
That is super cool.
You can, but the number one thing that I will always talk about that my content has been horrible with was audio quality. My audio quality is crap. I'm not gonna lie, and I actually bought a real microphone.
Yay! Oh,
So now
that's
I've got
great.
like a really nice setup that I can like actually record in like 4K and HD and post.
Oh, that's excellent.
I think I'm just gonna start doing some stuff like that and creating some really fun stuff and bringing on friends like you or whoever wants to talk sports with us.
Yay! Yes, please. That would be amazing.
So
we'll plug it.
Do you think we're going to have World's Toughest Mudder this year, or Spartan Race World Championships, or the Ultra Championship, or OCRWC?
World's Toughest Mudder, yes. I'm sure we will have World's Toughest Mudder. I think that we'll be able, that's in November. So we've got quite some time until then.
Okay.
Now, the championship is another story, Spartan World Championship, because, there's qualifying races and everything, and half the season is gone.
Yep.
So that's also late enough to where it might still happen. But honestly, I don't think it's gonna. That's the one in Abu Dhabi, right?
Yep, that's the one.
Oh, it's not gonna get that many people anyway. So the qualification standards might change, but it wasn't gonna get that many people anyway. Yeah. The real question, the more intriguing question, is who's gonna show up, and if there's going to be a North American Championship in Tahoe.
A lot. I was talking to a few people about that yesterday, and it'll be interesting.
It'll be very interesting. It's sort of like most things these days. It's a wait and see. So we're gonna wait and see. I think that's still. It's funny that's like it's all the way in September, but we're like, we don't know if the world's gonna be back to normal by then.
A slow turn on, and that's
I think that World's Toughest Mudder is far enough away to be hopeful.
Okay.
Honestly, it's my goal race for the year, and so I'm just gonna, even if it's a false hope, I'm just gonna hope that it's still happening. And OCRWC is in October, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance that that'll still go on.
I think there's a good chance OCRWC will happen. I think my fear is they could get pushed back for that, Tahoe, and these big things from bringing in international groups.
Yes, that will be the thing. I think we're not going to see as much of an international presence.
Or even like a lockdown on some of that. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. We don't know. This is speculation. We're just rolling the dice here.
That's all we can do right now. Well, that pretty much wraps up Quarantine Corner. Anything that you would like to plug before we go?
I want to plug. I'm giving away Salming shoes tomorrow. So if you want a pair of Elements 3, check out my Instagram on Bosecker. And they're fancy, cool shoes. They're neat.
Yay! So that's at Bosecker, SECKER, right?
Yeah, Bosecker.
Okay, cool. All right, everybody, go check that out. Jacob, thank you for taking the time to chat with me on today's Quarantine Corner.
Heather, let's do this again soon. Take care of yourself, girl.
Yes, please. All right, talk to you later.
Later, girl.
Bye.